Welcome back to the Mortgage Mayhem podcast. I'm your humble host, G Money. Yesterday was just a catastrophe, guys. The show was actually recorded, but because of some technical difficulties, we wasn't able to actually put the show on live. So I deeply apologize for that. But we're back here today. I got some humble information from a good friend of mine who's in this space. And, I'm going to take heed to that. And we're going to just keep it moving. It was a great weekend. I was so upset that we wasn't able to record the show yesterday, or we were able to record it, but for whatever reason, with technical difficulties, all you heard was a beeping noise throughout the broadcast. So I was able to get that fixed, and we're here today. Everything should sound live and direct. Shouldn't be any issues at all. So before we get started, let me go ahead and get this little disclaimer out there so we won't have no issues.
Welcome to the Mortgage Mayhem podcast, where the mortgage game meets real life, real talk, and a whole lot of chaos. We break down the deals, the drama, and the data behind the scenes of real estate finance, with a twist of street smarts, savvy, and a touch of madness. Before we dive in, here's the deal. The Mortgage Mayhem podcast is for informational and entertainment purposes only. We are not attorneys, CPAs, or licensed financial advisors, and nothing you hear on this show should be taken as legal, financial, or investment advice. Always consult a licensed professional before making financial decisions. Welcome to the Mortgage.
Okay, I'm back. I just wanted, it was my birthday weekend. So had a great time this weekend. Shout out to my boy, L Fox. We was at the country club getting our swing on Saturday on my birthday. Did a little thing, 1-2-1-2 that evening. So it was a great weekend for me. I appreciate all the birthday shout outs via Facebook. I just kind of want to run through it. You know how on Facebook, everybody do the little thank you, everybody, for, wishing me a warm birthday wish. And to me, that's why I got this platform. I don't have to sit there and write it. I could just kind of go through and thank the folks who took the time to say happy birthday to me. So before we get into it, I just want to run through it real quick. It should only take me a quick second, folks. Hope you guys can appreciate this. If you're not listening, you'll hear your name. If you don't get the show right here, right now, when we repost it a little bit later, you'll be able to hear your name. Sonia Thomas, thank you. Elder Sophia Folks, thank you. Sean D, thank you. All right, who else we got? We got Teddy Bowie. Thank you, my guy. You need to holler at me, Central 21. Maybe we'll be able to do some business together. Or Teddy. Andre Green, my boy. Thank you. Jacqueline Allen, my girl, been knowing her forever. Cynthia Rodriguez, don't know her, but she always chime in. So thank you, Cynthia. Marvin Ramsey, back in the day, guy. Janine Barlow, we go way, way, way back. Selby. Elementary, teen club, all that good stuff. Dehani Joseph, thank you. Appreciate it. Tamika Frierson, thank you. Andre Edwards, thank you, Noopy. Anthony Owens, thank you, Noopy. My Sands. We're going to keep it going. We got Renita Smith, thank you. Veronica Pony Gully. Been knowing Veronica forever. Sisters as well. Brothers also. Chucky Montgomery. What's up, Noopy? Appreciate you. Let's continue to keep it going. Donna Brooks, former mother-in-law. Thank you. Appreciate that. Monica Holmes, way back. High school. Jennifer Jackson, appreciate it. College I guess college girlfriend, sweetheart, whatever you want to call it, roommate. It's my girl, Jennifer. She a Delta. Shonda Lady Leo Greenlee, appreciate it. Dietrich McCall, my sins, number 10 on my line. Appreciate you, newbie. Marvin Smith, thank you. Michael Watkins, thank you. That's my guy right there. Tanya Harden, beautiful young lady right there. Back in the day, college. That's my girl. Thank you, Tanya. Eugene Black, my guy from back in the day. Marcus Martin, what's up, newbie? Daryl Campbell, what's up, newbie? Charles Turk, Kennebrew, big bro, what's happening? Appreciate you, man. Kendra Barnes, appreciate you, Kendra. Andrea Ayers, thank you. Glenda Johnston, thank you. Fareed Hassan, my cousin, appreciate you. Michelle Kirksey Parker, it's my girl from back in the day. CC Collins, what's up, newbie? Terry Reeves, appreciate you, my guy. Monica McGee, love Monica, that's my girl. Love her parents as well. Mom's no longer here, rest in peace. That was my sweetheart, loved her to death. Cedric Dozier, what's up, guy? He's alpha. Appreciate you, man. Nicole Robinson, thank you, Nicole. Virgilin Spears Williams, where my boy at? Thaddeus, thank you, Virgilin. Appreciate you. Shawana Bryan, thank you. Maria Williams, thank you. Felicia Young Thomas, thank you. Judith Allen, that's my girl from back in the day. We used to be, you already know, we used to be getting it in back in the day at TSU. Maria True, hey, Marie, thank you so much. Appreciate it. Hope business continues to go well for you as well. Kendrick Johnson, that's my guy. We used to tear it up back in the day. John Whitten, what's up, big cuz? James Baker, appreciate you, man. Sherrod Horn, been knowing Sherrod since he was a baby. That's my guy. His brother James Horn, appreciate you. Scott Metcalf, May Scott, what's up, Noopy? Trevor Trev, thank you. Beverly Sunshine, appreciate you, Bev. You know you, my girl. Alicia Simmons Moore, appreciate you. Khadija KK, thank you so much. Stacy Morrison, my cuz, what's up, bro? Angela Louise, that's my girl right there. Appreciate everything. Rhonda Plunkett, thank you so much. Cedric Turner, it's my big bro, my frat brother. Butterball, what's going on, newbie? Vernetta Nevels, appreciate you, Vernetta. Lawrence Radler, thank you, Noopy. Appreciate you. Danielle Darrow, thank you. Sonia Galloway, thank you. Shelly Williams from back in the day, that's my girl. Thank you so much. Marcus Reedus, that's my DP. I love you, bro. Thanks, Noopy. Larry Hubbard, been knowing Larry from back in the day. That's my guy. Steve James, appreciate you, man. Fatima Walker, that's my girl. That's my girl. Thank you, Fatima. Coretta Brown, thank you so much. Tara Cook, big, she AKA, that's my girl right there, for real, for real. Gracie Granberry, appreciate you, Gracie. Shonda Brown, thank you so much. Richie Carter, thank you so much. Trudy Turner, Kim Chesum, thank you, Kim, that's my girl. Sonia Marie, thank you so much. Jashelle Cross, thank you so much. Jacqueline Bell, appreciate it. Joshua Parker, Jackie Jackson, Michelle Huffman, thank you, guys. Petty Gilson, thank you. Kendra Dickerson Wilson, appreciate it. Carol Willis, thank you so much, Carol. You got to reach out to me so we can get some business done. Erica Evans, thank you, Erica. RIP to Eric Evans. Sean Crowdy, what's up, Noopy? Appreciate you, man. Carlos Capana. Carlos, thank you so much, man. Sanja Gwen, that's my girl. Appreciate you, Sanja. Alvito Rouser, high schooler, thank you so much. Kimberly Robinson, thank you so much. That's my girl. Tell Noopy what's up. William King, my boy, my frat, my Sands, thank you so much, Noopy. Grateful Turner, Grateful Tuckers, appreciate that. Renee Blake, man, you used to have a big crush on Renee back in the day. Hey, Renee, appreciate you. Aaron Hudson, thank you so much, Noopy. Noopy made me. Renee Ruffin, thank you so much. Andre Rucker, what's up, big bro? What's up, Noopy? Terry Elmore. Noopy, Noop. What's up, big dog? Appreciate you. Ramik L. Thank you so much. Gregory Brown. Been knowing me since I was a kid. Appreciate you, big bro. Sherry Cooper. Thank you so much, Sherry. You always been down with me. Still down with me. Appreciate you so much. Demetria Payton. Thank you so much. John Bibby. Thank you, Noopy. Michael Cobb, thank you, Noopy. Diane Curry, thank you so much. Michelle Sparks, thank you. Jackie Payne Witten. Thank you, Cuzzo. Sonia Gully. Thanks, Sonia. Appreciate you. Pete Motley. Appreciate you, Pete. JC. What's up, JC? Thank you, bro. Flodell Blake. Thank you, man. Anthony Shaw. Big bro. Thanks, Newbie. Tamara Johnson, a.k.a. Puff. Thank you so much. Patty Franklin. Appreciate you. Kelly Mitchell, thank you so much, Loopy. Deborah McSwain, thank you. Penny Reiser, thank you. Julius Morris, next door neighbor, growing up. Appreciate you, Julius. Man, your brother, everybody, RIP, man. Jamal Hyatt, thank you, Noopy. Teresa Dumas, thank you. Craig Griffin, thank you. Clay Smalley, thank you, Noopy. Bush Carter, thanks, Noop. Lonnie Allen, thanks, Noop. Praveen Patel, appreciate you, man. And last but not least, my cousin, Shem Hassan. Thank you so much, bro. I really appreciate them birthday shout outs. But we about to go ahead and get into the show. We got an action-packed show today. We're going to bring up someone that you guys, I know people probably ain't tuned in right now, but we're going to clip this thing up real good. So we could get it out to the masses, but we're going to bring my boy RJ up. I'm going to interview him a little bit later. We're going to talk about our company, and then we're also going to talk about ground up construction where you don't need experience. This is going to be big. So you guys definitely want to tune in to that. But let's get into it. So first up today, we're going to be talking a little bit about Trump, his proposal to raise income taxes on the wealthy Americans. Senator Chris Murphy sounded an alarm on Homeland Security's budget. A 14-year-old Wes Muhammad, who just made history as the youngest freshman at Coppin State. Georgia tax preparer Jessica Crawford, up to some no good Diddy family. The whole Diddy saga. The Diddy saga is just crazy. I mean, yesterday, we'll talk about it. And then, like I said, I'm going to bring my boy up here at some point so we could talk, real shop about Diddy. That's what he do. My boy over at No Flow, the Flow Show, No Filter. Yeah, so we're going to bring him up and let him get into his bag on the Diddy. If you guys don't know, go to his platforms. And check him out. He be having the deep dives on all things Diddy and a lot of other stuff as well. And that's my boy, Flo. Then we go get into Shiloh, Hendrix. We're going to talk about the NAACP raising money for the 5-year-old who was targeted with racial slurs in New York. We're also going to talk about Al B. Shore breaking his silence, Diageo, the new Pope. Then we're going to bring up the mother and 3 daughters who all graduated from Georgia State to get together. That's going to be one of our highlights that we bring up along with 14-year-old Wes Muhammad. And then we're going to talk a little bit about Tory Lane getting stabbed in prison. Then we're going to get into FAMU, who's facing backlash for considering Marva Johnson, the lifelong Republican, as its next president. So we're gonna talk about that. Seen a couple people online going crazy about that. Then we're gonna talk about the 49 white Africans who have been granted refuge by the Trump administration. So yeah, I'm gonna give you my insights and things on that as well. Then we're gonna jump off into a couple mortgage hacks, of course. And then we're gonna bring RJ up, and then we're gonna have some fun. I can't wait till RJ come up. Today is that day. If you haven't been watching, today is today. We're getting ready to get into that mortgage mayhem breakdown of some products that if you really in the game, then this is, if you're trying to level up in the fix and flip game, your next step is to go ground up construction, which a lot of investors are actually doing right now. So it would be, it would behoove you to pay attention and to, listen to how we break everything down today. So let's get into this. Let me get out up here. Okay. What we got going on up in here? Where is our guy at? Da 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 da. Okay, so Trump is proposing to raise income taxes on wealthy Americans. There's a lot said, but we'll see. But Trump has proposed raising income taxes to 39.6, excuse me, for individuals earning over 2.5 million a year. As part of talks with congressional Republicans on a new fiscal plan. The proposal will create a new top tax bracket and marks a shift from the usual Republican push for lower taxes on high earners. The suggested hike aims to help support broader tax breaks under review in Congress as lawmakers also look to extend part of the 2017 tax cuts set to expire in a year or next year. All right. So basically, this is how I feel about that. I mean, like we were saying yesterday, but you didn't hear. But I mean, if this is something that he's actually doing, then I mean, I welcome it. I mean, I think high earners should pay a little bit more. Anytime your secretary is paying more in taxes than millionaires and billionaires, that's always going to be a problem. And in order for the world to actually go around and for things to be able to be paid for, streets, roads, we got to tax people, especially high earners. I mean, we all should have a little bit, left over to be able to give a little bit more in taxes. So, it's more communicative to me. When you got high earners not paying taxes, skirting taxes, setting up accounts offshore so they can avoid taxes. To me, you cheating America when you do stuff like that. So my thing is if you getting that bag, and if this is really true, you're gonna raise the income taxes to 39.6 for individuals earning over 2.5 million. That should be a nice little tax base that's going to be coming into the government, so the government can hopefully do the necessary things that needs to be done to make this a better world, especially a better country, right? So let's see what happens on that. All right, so let's keep it moving. Let's bring up this guy. I like this guy. So Senator Chris Murphy addresses the Department of Homeland Security's budget following President Donald Trump. And I'm gonna just be honest with you. He to me, this should be the next guy. He should be the next leader in the Senate, because this guy right here, it's not like he's a fire breather. He's just more of a calm, intellectual, smack your ass down type of individual. He don't play. He always have the facts. He's smart as a whip. He's younger. So yeah, I think he should be that next person to take over leadership in the Senate for the Democrats. He's a Democrat. But anyway, so he basically, I've seen the person who heads up the Homeland Security Secretary Noam. He had her in front of Congress, is going over her budget, and he just put the lethal smackdown on her. But here's what happened. So basically, the Department of Homeland Security's budget following President Donald Trump deportation initiative during a Senate Appropriations Subcommittee meeting regarding the department's budget. He remarked, when I say he, this is Chris Murphy, "You are spending as if you don't have a budget. you are on the verge of running out of money for the fiscal year. He further explained that the Department of Homeland Security will likely exhaust its funds for immigration by July and argued that the department is not providing migrants with due process they deserve. He also highlighted the case of Kilmar Abrego Garcia, a man deported to El Salvador despite a Supreme Court ruling ordering his return to the U.S. Murphy criticized Secretary Nome for refusing to comply with the court's decision, emphasizing the importance of adhering to the rule of law. So basically, once again, the administration is running amok. They just, for whatever reason, this is the administration, first time ever, that just feels like, they do what they want to do. The old guard is no longer in their vision. They pretty much create whatever kind of chaos that they feel like they want to create, and in turn, they try to make it seem like they're making America great. I get what they're trying to do with the border, but we got laws. You got to follow the laws. That's what I don't like about this administration. I get it. They're trying to do things the way that they want to do it, but no other administration ever has, went outside of actually following the laws, especially laws or decisions that comes down from the Supreme Court. That used to be, a thing where you didn't even have to have discussions. The Supreme Court was the arbiter of the last word when it comes to our laws here in this country. And in this case, they're just ignoring the law or the ruling that the Supreme Court came down with. And then on top of it, you have a budget. This is like your family budget as well. You can't just do what you want to do. You have a set budget. You have to stay in the restraints of that budget. And in this case, the secretary is just, running through money. The Senator Chris Murphy basically was like, they'll be broke by, the end of July. And you still got August, September, October, November, December. And he basically was saying that they're just running shop with the money because, of the border or whatnot. But look, if you're going to, be out here trying to handle immigration, you got to do it within the confine of your budget. You can't, like I said, your budget at home, you have to, run these budgets as if you were running your budget at home. And if you're not doing that, that is some BS, because at the end of the day, it's the taxpayers' money, so you're spending our money and you're going to be broke by July and you still got 3-4 months left. Come on now. We got to do better. And I know these people, they have to be smarter than this. I mean, I get it. They feel like they just, running over everybody. This is just what they do. But this ain't how you're supposed to operate the government at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? So whatever's going on in Homeland Security, and then here's the other thing. They're so busy running behind, the border. All the other cyber security is being affected. Other folks, other bad people out there, because we're paying so much attention to what's going on at the border. The senator is saying that we're missing the other things. And that's typically what happens. We be focused on one thing and then other things slips through the cracks. And you know what happens when things slip through the crack? You have, the likings of 9/11 and things of that nature. We definitely don't want that to happen again. We saw how that went. It wasn't pretty. A lot of people were affected. A lot of people passed away during 9/11. So, you people in Homeland Security who's supposed to protect us, get your shit together, please. Get it together, because we don't need some unfortunate circumstance that has us all, at our knees like we were during 9/11 because we didn't keep our eye on all the balls, right? No Diddy. All right, so let's keep it moving. 14-year-old Muhammad. Let me bring this kid up. Where is he at? Where is my guy, Muhammad? Nope, that ain't Muhammad. Okay. Anyway, so 14-year-old Wes Muhammad from Baltimore, Maryland. We like to highlight individuals who's out here doing big things. And this guy made history by becoming the youngest freshman ever admitted to Coppin State University in its 125-year history. He enrolled as a cybersecurity engineering major on a full scholarship. 14-year-old Wes Muhammad from Baltimore, Maryland, made history by becoming the youngest freshman ever to be admitted. This is what I'm talking about right here. Let's get this guy a nice little round of the things that he's out here doing. This is big. He's only 14, guys, and he already out here in the ways of the world. So by the time he's 14, 15, by the time he's 16, 17, when most kids are getting ready to go to college, I'm assuming he's probably going to be, moving on to get his master's. Sometimes we have these geniuses, and it's just good to see, something positive from our YNs, right? A lot of times we hear all the negative things about our young people when you have, people like this that's, coming in, handling their business. Of course, he's bright, and he's, making history at the same time. So big up for our guy, Wes Muhammad from Baltimore. He don't even know that I'm sitting here bigging him up right now, but he deserves it big time. He definitely deserves it. So give him a big, shout out, round of applause. His name is, once again, Wes Muhammad. So if you want to just kind of look him up, maybe DM him, continue to congratulate him. That I'm pretty sure will help, continue to motivate him as he, tracks through life as a young genius. All right. All right. No, we don't want to talk about Diddy right now, but we definitely gonna get into some Diddy talk here in a second. Where's my people? All right, so let's talk about this Georgia tax preparer who's sentenced to 8 years for assisting her clients in a multi-state $3.5 million pandemic unemployment fraud scheme. And then she took a cut of that money up front. Her name is Jessica Crawford, a Georgia-based tax preparer who has been sentenced to 8 years in prison for her role in a large-scale pandemic unemployment fraud. She pleaded guilty in late 2024 to wire fraud and filing false tax returns as part of a multi-state federal fraudulent probe was tied to the pandemic assistance program. Crawford submitted more than $3 million in fake claims, often using made-up businesses or false details for her clients in return. She collected a portion of the payouts. Authorities uncovered her operation through client text messages, and undercover IRS agent exposed her tactics further when she helped the agent set up a fake landscaping business and filed a fraudulent return worth over $12,000. Between 2020 and 2021, Crawford submitted over 12,000 tax returns with bogus information, including fake business losses and inflated child and earned income tax credits. So, the proof is, pretty much in the pudding. Most people that was out there scheming back during COVID, you're pretty much going down from every indication that I can see. So she's no different. She 1,200 fake tax returns. How you think you're gonna do 1,200 fake tax returns and not get caught? How you think you're gonna do all of this and not get caught? And you're out here sloppy. You're doing business with whoever because you're trying to make a big buck, and you come to find out once they bring a hammer down on you, the person you thought you was getting money on or getting money from was an IRS agent. So the FBI was on you from the start. And I don't know if this lady has a family or whatnot. I feel sorry for them if she does. I get it. People always trying to make a quick buck, but you can't make a quick buck when you're doing wire transfers, when you're doing legitimate white collar crimes. This is not going to work. It's never worked. Nobody gets away with it. And especially when you start getting into the millions of dollars, like that's just going to go, unlooked at, uncovered. That ain't how the government works. You have people out here that's looking for this stuff. This is not, just anybody. You're talking about the folks, the alphabet boys and gals. They don't play around when it comes to this kind of stuff. And they understand how many people tried to cheat the system, when all of this money that was supposed to go to legitimate businesses who were in financial dire strait. So those individual businesses who actually needed the money ended up, falling by the wayside because you have people like this, running around scheming and scamming. So I don't really have any sympathy. The only sympathy I have is for her family because she knew what she was doing when she got herself in, when she, thought of the idea one day, somehow, somewhere that she could potentially, get away with this. And a lot of times these folks do this. They buy silly stuff. They do silly stuff with the money. Then they have to go to jail for 8 years. Life's ruined. You're a felon now. You'll probably never be able to really get another tax job, because it sounds like that's what you do. So, you do the crime, you gotta do the time. That's pretty much all I can say on that. And those others who did the crime, more than likely you're gonna be doing the time as well. So hopefully it was worth it, which I can't see it being worth it because you're about to be away from family and friends for 8 years, and you're not going to college. You're going to that place where they don't play. Where when you walk through them cells and hear them doors close, all the things that you did, you're gonna be sitting there, laying there, regretting every moment of it. I don't care how much fun you had. I don't care how many clothes you bought, how many cars you bought, how many this you did, whatever. You're going to be laying there regretting every moment of your decisions, right? All right, so let's keep it moving. All right, so Diddy. Let's bring Diddy up. Let's talk about Diddy and the family. All right, so Diddy and his family reported to court. Of course, Diddy, is on trial for a RICO charge. I'm pretty sure everybody already knows this. It's everywhere. But the trial actually started, opening statements started. Witnesses were brought to the stand yesterday. PP Diddy is what they're calling them nowadays because, a lot of things came out where urination was involved, Cassie being urinated on. It was just a hot mess to the point where the daughters had to actually leave, the actual hearing. because of the disgust that was being talked about during the trial. So Diddy's in that mix right now. He's fighting for his life. As you can see here, his kids, his mom, his attorney, friends are all there, or were all there yesterday. I'm not sure if they're going to be there today. I'm pretty sure he's going to try to have as much support as he can in the courtroom. That sometimes goes a long way with the jurors, but we shall see. We'll definitely keep you guys updated on the whole Diddy world. But, it's not looking good for Diddy for the most part from every indication that I'm seeing. But you know how this go. It ain't over until it's over. The 12 jurors will decide his fate. But from every indication, all the shenanigans that Diddy may have been up to, whether people were, involved on their own, recognizance, or, he was doing the things that they're saying he was doing to the point where they had to bring a RICO charge. So we'll keep our eyes on that. Like I say, the Flow Show No Filter will bring my guy Flow up to talk about it at some point, as we, he's running high right now. He's doing big things over in his lane, true crime, and a lot of this Diddy stuff. He's been on it from the beginning. So to get his perspective, to go back and forth with him and have some banter, that should be fun. We'll kind of let him get a little bit deeper into the trial before we actually bring him up. But yeah, Diddy, no Diddy, but Diddy's looking like he in big trouble right now. Been in big trouble, been in jail for a while now. But the case is going down. They're say Cassie's probably about to be on the witness stand. That's going to be a barn burner because it seems like they're trying to kind of say she was doing these things on her own, volition. But I don't, when you got powerful people, money, drugs, influence, you never can tell if someone was really participating or if they were being manipulated. So we'll see what happens. But a lot of, big name individuals have already been named. So, everybody's on Diddy watch right now. I was watching, people who hire people to hold their positions or hold their their seats or whatever, for $35-$40 an hour. So this is a hot ticket. I seen Jaguar right out there reporting. The lady Tisa, she was out there reporting. These are individuals that's all over social media, who's been on social media along with my boy Flow No Filter, reporting on all this Diddy shit from the beginning. You know what I'm saying? So, we'll keep our eyes on it and we'll see, see what the outcome, will be, right? Speaking of Diddy, Al B. Shore, popped up on broadcast, talking about his side of the story. And Al B is saying Diddy was behind his 2022 coma due to multi-organ failures. Says he's willing to testify in upcoming trial and refutes claims that Kim Porter died of pneumonia. He says she was in the best health of her life. So yeah, Al B is basically out here, saying that Diddy had something to do with his sickness. So during the interview, Al said he's finally ready to speak his truth. He recounted the moment he suddenly collapsed and went into organ failure, calling the health crisis completely unexpected and suspicious. For the first time, suggested that Diddy may have something to do with it. He also revealed that he repeatedly tried to contact law enforcement about sex trafficking allegations against Diddy, but was ignored and treated as if he were crazy. suggesting that the authorities were in cahoots with the diddler. Al says he was often pressured to delete social media posts warning others, receiving threats if he didn't comply. He claims he only posted in attempts to save his own life. He thanked his ex, Kim Porter, who he claims was in perfect health before her sudden 2018 death, and says she tried to warn him multiple times before her passing. Apparently, he's been subpoenaed to testify in Diddy's upcoming trial and confirmed that he is willing to take the stand. Still, he clarified that Diddy being locked up is not a celebration, claiming there's a lot of collateral damage involved. He ended by saying he's simply telling his truth and that this is not a stunt to promote his book. Okay, so Al B, we all know who Al B is. The crooner from back in the day, him and Keith Sweat, they were, you had the light-skinned brother, Keith Sweat, the brown-skinned brothers, but them two brothers had females and love songs on lock. I almost want to say the majority of the individuals that are here today are here with the background of those individuals there. Playing, you know what I'm saying? You had Al B with all kind of hit songs. You had Keith Sweats with all kind of hit songs. Y'all know what the songs were. So this is definitely something that we want to keep our eye on, because it sounds like Al B Shore is bringing that pain. It could be because he's trying to sell a book, but Al B knows something, and he has something that he wants to get out there. So we'll see if he testifies in the Diddy trial. But Al B is definitely on Diddy's ASS. You know what I'm saying? No Diddy. So we'll definitely keep our eyes on Al B because it seems like Al B has a story to tell, and he's been waiting to tell it. He just seemed like he just been waiting for the opportune time, to get that out there for the most part. So yeah, we'll keep an eye on Al B, and then we'll see what he brings to the table. All right, let's keep it moving. So the new USA has a pope. The new US born pope has Black, Creole, and Haitian grandparents from New Orleans, Louisiana, but says he doesn't identify as a Black. So the brother of the newly elected U.S.-born Pope Leo, John Prevost, confirmed to the New York Times family records unearthed by a genealogist who found that Prevost's family descends from Creole people of color in New Orleans. John Prevost confirmed records showing the maternal side of Pope Leo's family can be traced back to at least the 1840s among free people of color in New Orleans, though he clarified his family does not identify as Black. The historical records were revealed by Jari Honor, a genealogist with historic New Orleans collections, a research center documenting the city's history, who told the New York Times Leo's maternal grandparents were people of color, Pope Leo, no doubt about it. And Representative Troy Carter, who's a Democrat from Louisiana, who represents New Orleans, also released a statement Thursday highlighting Pope Leo's ancestral ties to our Creole and Haitian family, saying he was proud as a Black man and a proud son of New Orleans. So I went to Catholic schools growing up, Duquette Catholic, Powers Catholic. So I understand the importance of the Pope. He's beloved. He's for the people, especially the people that are in need. And he's godly. For the most part, nobody's perfect, but he's as close to it as we can, define here on this earth. That's why he has the power of being the Pope. And trust you me, it's a powerful position. It's just not, a position in name. The Pope is a part of, a huge following, not just by Catholics, but just by people all across the world in general. I think I've seen two popes. This will be the third pope in my lifetime. So the popes are a big deal. And in this case, they're saying that the Pope may have a little bit of that, melanin in his system. Which sounds like it's the truth. And the brother who's been kind of running around on different broadcasts, talking this ish, brought this to fruition. But of course, they're going to try to downplay it. They're going to try to say he's not, because there's never been a black pope. We thought this time we could potentially get one, but this is the closest thing to it. So we'll roll with it. But we wish the Pope nothing but success. I know he has some cleaning up to do because of, some of the things that the Catholic Church has been, accredited for in a negative way. So we'll keep our eye on the Pope, and we'll, keep him in our prayers, because I know he's praying for all folks, not just here in the United States, but all across the world. So big ups to the new Pope. All right, so let's keep it moving. Our next highlighted individual I like to bring up is the mother and three daughters who all graduated on the same day at Georgia State University. The Lee family from Austell, Georgia, is making history as four family members graduating together in Georgia State University in May 2025. Mother Keela Lee, 53, who received her Master's of Arts in Teaching, while her daughters, Rakaya, 31, earned her Master's of Public Administration, and twins, Camilla and Kalala, completed their bachelor's degrees in biology. A family of lifelong learners, Coella, originally from Detroit, began her career in social work from transitioning into education. After years as a substitute and paraprofessional, she became a middle school teacher. Driven by her passion to support youth, inspired by her daughters and husband, she chose Georgia State to advance her teaching career. Following in mom's footsteps, Rakaya, working in Atlanta's Department of Watershed Management, returned to GSU for her master's after the university waived entrance exams. Camilla and Kalala transferred from Alabama State to be closer to home and family, joining their sister at Georgia State University. Kamaya plans to pursue a MPH and become an OBGYN, while Kalala is preparing for veterinary school with dreams of working with animals and wildlife. Look ahead. The family's May 7th graduation, which has already passed, is a major milestone, but they are all focused on future goals. Quella aspires to earn a doctorate and launch a youth nonprofit named after her mother. Rakaya is considering law school or a PhD, while Kamaya and Kalala continue gaining professional experience towards medical and veterinary careers. For the Lees, education is a family affair and a lifelong journey. All right, so big ups to them. They out here doing big things. We like to highlight, individuals that's out here doing, big things. That's just what we do here. It's very important. These folks, we just want to touch a little bit on them. They don't know me, like I say once again, but every broadcast, I like to shine the light on those who may not, get the light shine on them, or who may not get their flowers, while they're here. So we like to just give the flowers to the individuals who we perceive as doing, big things in the community. So shout out to that family. All right, let's keep it moving. Tory Lanez is in critical condition after being stabbed in prison on Monday morning. The Shade Room has confirmed with a member of Tory's team. According to an initial report by TMZ, Tory was stabbed by another inmate while in the yard of the California Correctional Institution at Tehachapi on Monday. He was subsequently rushed to a nearby civilian hospital, and the Shade Room spoke with a member of Tory team who confirms the news, revealing the rapper is currently in critical condition. So yeah, Tory Lanez, man, bro, feel sorry for you. Sounds like he's doing better now. So you know he's still here. So that's a big thing. I don't know what happened. You know, so to speak, it's prison. Anything can happen. You know, so you know, we just send prayers to Tory and his family for a speedy recovery, in hopes that at some point he can make it to the finish line. Because if this kind of stuff keeps happening, then you know it sounds like this was meant to unalive him. But he pulled through, he pushed through. So hopefully he'll kind of make some different arrangements going forward, so he doesn't have to have himself in these kind of situations. All right, let's keep it moving. This is a big one. Republican Marva Johnson to be the next president of the HBCU. She currently serves as vice president, state government affairs for charter communication. And the FAMU is interviewing lifelong Republican Marva Johnson to be the next president of FAMU. She currently serves as vice president, state government affairs for charter communication. Black millionaires, my people over there. FAMU is facing backlash over potential appointment of Republican executive Marva Johnson as president. Businessman, and Hollywood producer Will Packard released a video discussing the controversy. Florida A&M University is facing criticism after news broke that Marva Johnson, a lifelong Republican and current vice president of state government affairs at Charter Communication, is a finalist for the university's next president. The announcement has sparked debate among students, alumni, and HBCU supporters. Critics worry Johnson's political affiliation and about wait a minute, where we go? Oh, I'm sorry. Corporate background may not align with FAMU's progressive values and historic mission. With Florida's shifting political climate, some fear her appointment can signal a move towards oppressing conservative interests rather than appeasing conservative interests rather than advocating for students and academic freedom. Supporters argue Johnson's experience in government affairs should help FAMU secure funding and navigate political challenges, urging others to judge her on qualifications, not politics. Still, many in the Rattler community remain skeptical. As the Board of Trustees prepares to make its decision, the outcome could shape not only FAMU's future, but also the broader role of HBCUs in today's political landscape. All right, so yeah, that's a big one. I seen Will Packard all over the internet, and he's not happy about this at all. So we'll keep an eye on it. I don't want to get into it right now because a decision hasn't been made. If they do decide to choose her, we'll unpack it. We'll talk, in detail about it. But until that happens, I'll just keep my 2 cents to myself. Will Packard, if you guys want to really get the skinny on it, Will Packard, who's a big film producer, who graduated from FAMU. All you got to do is go on Instagram, type in Will Packard, and you will get your money's worth. He's not happy about it. He's screaming to the top of, his lungs about it to anybody that's listening. So we'll definitely keep our eye on it, and we'll see exactly what it is that they got going on at FAMU. We should be getting a decision soon, though. So we'll be able to talk about it and just kind of go from there. All right, so that's some of our hot topics today. We might end up doing another show sometime this week, maybe Friday, because we did miss the show on Monday. So I might just come on back on Friday and just kind of talk about some things, kind of the end of the week, types of things. Real quick, before we bring RJ up, let's talk about a couple mortgage hacks that can save you $1,000. Lock in low rates early with new construction loan before the markets change. We're going to be talking about new construction here today, but yeah, you want to get locked in like as soon as possible, so you can take advantage of the lower rates right now before chaos occurs, or rates could drop. But if you can lock something in at a reasonable rate, now would probably be a time, especially on these new construction loans, right? All right. The second hack is bundle land acquisitions with construction loan to make your underwriting smoother. So that's pretty standard when you buying land. A lot of times, it makes sense for you to come to the table with the land already purchased. That way you can get credit for that. And it'll help you save money because you don't have to finance the actual land because you will own it outright. So this is definitely a good hack for our new construction folks. And we're just talking about new construction hacks today because we're getting ready to go into a whole spiel about it. So look for local incentives and opportunity zones for major savings on new builds. That's very important. USDA is a huge one because it's 100% financing. And then you got your opportunity zones. I would say Google opportunity zones because, it may be some opportunities there for new construction as well. So definitely want you to take a look at that. And they're offering a lot of local tax incentives as well. Leverage building permits to negotiate better terms with lenders. That one is, one that we could talk about a little bit more, a little bit later, as we kind of go through, the actual ground up construction. We can speak on that, leveraging building, builder permits, because permits is huge. And most lenders want you to pretty much have your permits already squared away before you bring them a new construction project. They'll work with you if the permits is in the workings. But if you can already have that done, it might be a good way for you to leverage, that to get better leverage on your overall deal. All right. So that's the 4 hacks for today. And like I said, I love the hacks because it's one of those things where, some people will take them serious and it will afford them an opportunity to save a lot of money. And it also will afford them to have, knowledge that most people don't have. That's why we bring the hacks to the broadcast, because a lot of people don't, they don't have a clue. So it's almost like I'm creating a dictionary of hacks for you. So when you do decide that, you want to get into the game, or if you're already in the game, it will allow you to have knowledge that most people won't have, and in turn can help you out long term. So, stay tuned to the hacks and make sure you guys are, taking full advantage of the hacks if possible. You know what I'm saying? So right now we're waiting on RJ. He should be in the actual room here any minute now. Let me get him. Let me dial him up, so to speak. You coming on? Okay. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. Mic check. Yes, I think we're just waiting on RJ right now. He should be dialing into the studio here any second now. This is going to be big, guys. Um, I like stuff like this. This is our first interview, of course, but I love stuff like this because, it allows us to really do deep dives with professional individuals who's in the space, so to speak. And then, you get an education, right? And that's what we're here for. We're here to educate. We're here to help. So we're going to bring RJ up to the stage. RJ's my guy, my business partner. So let's bring him on up. RJ,
G Money, what's happening?
man, what's going on, big dog?
Nothing much.
I couldn't wait to bring you up. Like I said, we don't have a huge audience right now because we're just getting started. But I'm taking it from the mud, big dog. We'll get there eventually. And episodes like this, interviews like this, to inform the audience is really what one of the main reasons why I even decided to do this. Because we're in a space that a lot of people don't get the information. You can go to a stockbroker to get information on stocks, right? You can go to these different places to get financial information. You can call your financial planner, but when you're an investor, you have people like us, and it ain't a lot of us out here, as you know. To be able to give them vital information to help them build generational wealth. And today, we're going to not only get into ground up construction without any experience, but we're also going to talk about our company, Nationwide Capital Advisors, where we can, help people not just do ground up construction, but anything in the fix and flip, fix and hold, DSCR arena. But I'm gonna let you kind of come on up and do a quick little introduction, and then we'll kick things off. And the first question I want to bring to the forefront. So as you're doing your introduction, you can also think about this question as well. How did you get started in the mortgage industry? Let's go.
All right. First of all, congratulations on the platform. Happy to see you bringing the good news to the masses. First
Right.
and foremost. First
Right.
and foremost.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. So I'm the managing director of Nationwide Capital Advisors. We are a pretty much occupy some space within the private money / hard money lending arena. I prefer to use the terminology as investment purpose lending over hard money lending, because hard money lending more specifically kind of refers to one thing, usually short-term bridge money, whereas we're also involved with funding deals that are long-term. And so basically what we are looking to do is to fund and help individuals kind of get through with multiple investment strategies, right? So we are a nationwide private money lender focused on investment properties, whether that be residential properties, which we look at as 1 to 4 units. That could be for a fix and flip. That could be for a buy and hold, a rental property. It can also be ground up construction, which is one of my favorite strategies. Additionally, we're a commercial lender, so we deal with properties that are multifamily, 5 units and up, office buildings, mixed use buildings, and pretty much all that's in between. So our mission as a company is to help individuals that want to build their real estate business. That's our core mission. So we go about it in a very different way, because what I like to say is that we don't necessarily look to do 100 loans for 100 people. We're really in the business of doing 100 loans for one individual, right? We are able to give individuals the tools that they need in terms of knowledge, network, systems, infrastructure, to help them build their real estate business. We want to be able to get people away from the influences that are around that are not necessarily vested or really involved with a particular investor's growth, and kind of looking to just take from them without really giving back, right? So we're looking to develop a partnership with an individual investor where they can rely on us for information, of course, for financing, for direction, for networking, and for anything that they kind of need to be able to get through a project successfully. And that's how we get to the next project, which is what we're in business for, to be able to do multiple projects. So we want to give any single individual all of the tools that they need to make that happen. So
Right.
when it comes to how I came into this business, I was lucky to benefit from some nepotism. Basically, I have an older brother who is an accountant by trade, and he was in the mortgage business and brought me in pretty much at the bottom level. I started as a mortgage processor for his company. From there, moved on and became a loan originator and a loan officer. And then from there, I saw a light, and that light led me into something that I really had a passion for, and that is for the investment side of the real estate business. So I began to kind of really study and develop experience around commercial real estate first. And then later on, I learned that, you know what, commercial real estate, it's difficult for individuals to get into. They need a significant amount of capital to play in commercial real estate, especially where we are here in New York City. And I was shown really the benefits of investing in residential real estate, something I had always stayed away from and advised clients to stay away from, because I deemed it as much more risky endeavor, which in some cases it can be. In the nature of it, it is more risky than commercial, because commercial is built on the backbone of income that's being generated from the property, whereas residential real estate relies on you, the individual, to fund the debt service. Well, one of the benefits of the crash of the late 2000s, 08, 09, is that a new lane was created to separate those who were getting financed for homes to live in from those who were getting financed for homes to invest in. That separation created this hard money lending space.
Mm-hmm.
And this hard money lending space, now that the right parameters and the goals and the rules were set in place, and that's the great thing about rules and structure. A lot of people are afraid of rules, regulation, and structure. No, let's protect those that need to get protected.
Right.
Let's get them out of the way.
Right.
And let's do business. Right. And that's what really came out of that with Dodd-Frank legislation and other legislation that kind of separated investment from owner-occupied. And now these particular financing programs made a big headway in mitigating that risk that you had before with residential investments, because now we're doing business to business lending, and all of our products are designed to facilitate that. Right. So I was lucky to learn that from some of the best companies in the country, and was able to take that, build on it, and develop a platform where we kind of went away from their very cold approve or decline method into a approve or tell you how we're going to get approved method. Right. So that's it. Yeah. And it's a very exciting business because there's just so much dynamics to it. Whether it is, single family fix and flips, or, a 2-family in Texas, or something in Seattle, Washington, and everything is a little bit different when you add in all of the pieces, right? So our company is built on all of that experience, knowing how all of the components of a deal are underwritten and evaluated, and allowing our customers, our clients, to get the benefit of that, so that the deals that they're doing are not a situation where they have a deal and they're shopping for financing, but more of, we have a deal and Nationwide Capital already said go. Right. Because they've already reviewed this, and not only reviewed it, but gave feedback, and over a period of time maybe has developed this particular person to the point where they can target properties, conduct initial underwriting, and take it step by step before we even see it. But all of our clients know through our portal that they can enter a deal into our portal just off of, hey, I drove by this house, 55 West Murray Street. Put it into our system, and our team already starts to work with them to do the basic due diligence to determine if it's a deal or not. So that's really our core belief. We're looking to build real estate investors. because that's how we win in the long run. We don't want to go fight and battle for other people's clients, right? As much as we want to create a loyal, productive client base that can that where we're both vested and fully invested in their deal and in their growth. So they grow, we grow. So here we are.
Hey man, I really appreciate that breakdown, man, because when people like listen back to this, you know, sometimes people can look at us and think or figure that we may not have the information. But just that little small breakdown that you just broke down, I mean, when people actually listen to this, they're going to know that they're dealing with true professionals, right? Because sometimes, unfortunately, you know, people may look at black, brown, whatever skin color we may have and figure that we're not as adapt to understanding financing the way that we, you know, we just so happen to be fortunate to get the information and the knowledge from places where, you know, sometimes people don't even know are available to them. But just kind of, because when I'm on here, RJ, I don't really tell people kind of what I do, so to speak. I haven't gotten to that point yet. It's just been more me just kind of educating people, but not tooting my own horn or saying what it is that I do or talking about our company, because I don't want people to feel like, you know, I'm just here, you know, just trying to just get business, so to speak.
Right.
But let's just
hour-long commercial.
Right. So let's talk a little bit about how we actually launched Nationwide Capital Advisors, you know, together, so to speak. You came up with the brainchild, and then you kind of put the pieces together, and then I kind of came in to kind of help fill the void. Talk about that a little bit. Bring people up to speed on how the company got started, and then we'll talk about ground up construction. RJ, let me bring them down and then bring them back up. Are you there?
Are you back? I'm good. Yeah.
Okay. Did you hear me?
No, I lost you. So I don't know if it
okay.
was my internet. I don't think it was. I don't know.
Yeah, you froze. What I was saying is, you know, when I come up on you know, on the platform, I don't do a lot of braggadocious. I don't talk about, you know, what I've done, what I'm doing, so to speak. So I want to just kind of give the audience an opportunity to kind of, you know, get a gaze behind the scenes on how a company that we've started is actually launched, like what goes into that, and just kind of walk people through what we had to do to get to this point.
Wow, that's a man. That's a lot right there, G. The first part of that is fair to say I'm a fairly blessed individual, right?
Hold on. We lost RJ real quick. RJ. Okay, there we go. There we go.
Yeah, is that me? Is that my fault?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. I mean, we're good though.
Okay. All right. So I'm just gonna try to make up for whatever lost time there. All right. So yeah, I consider myself a very blessed individual. For to have kind of had the journey that I had in this space. Like I said, it started with my brother's company. And, I made a joke about nepotism, but I didn't get to walk into the doors there and be in charge, right? Which is a lot of my training. A lot of my training is in management, right? But I didn't get to walk in the door and be in charge. I started as a loan processor. And for those that don't know the industry, the loan processor really does a lot of the grunt work behind the scenes, making sure loans are being moved through. But the detail that is required by that job in terms of having to review documents, knowing why you need certain documents for certain things, and starting to kind of connect all those dots was great training for me. And from there, and of course, being influenced by my brother's business and seeing his company and having that as a model to kind of follow. But again, the one thing that's remains true is I've always had a passion for real estate, not for loans or the mortgage business, right? I've always had a passion for real estate. And coming into real estate from that perspective, I was able to learn it really from the bottom up, because any lender, they are looking at an asset at a real estate asset as a pivotal security to their capital. Mm-hmm. So the way they look at it is going to be with more scrutiny than even you, the owner.
Right.
Okay. So learning those systems first created this baseline. Then learning how to be a loan officer, seeing what that job was like, and developing best practice, and again, being blessed with this leadership mindset, being able to start putting those pieces together, say, hey, I can run this better than them, which is typically what's going to come appear in my brain after I work for anybody for 2 weeks.
Right.
to be honest with you.
Right. I'm the same way.
Right. So it started with those building blocks, and then starting to learn the commercial real estate.
Right.
Which really drove my passion, because that's, for me, was the real nerd work that I'm kind of more attracted to. And as I'm learning the commercial real estate and now studying commercial real estate in this particular city and then that city, and then seeing all those differences and how all those things are put together, I started at that point, which is probably 2009 or 2008, right before the crash.
Mm-hmm.
Brilliant businessman. My first foray at this business in terms of building my own firm and trying to grow from there, right? But again, as I said, wrong time, wrong place, and right, it took some time to start, putting it back together. Now, in the time, I started to do some other things to gain experience. I worked for an appraisal company, started to see how the appraisals were done, right? I worked for a title company, started to see what that magic was like, right? And then it just so happened, and I'm not going to mention their name, the title company that I was working for, they started their own private money lending. And again, with a commercial lending mindset, we're still very separated from residential real estate investing, right? Because those worlds are so very, very separate. They don't really intermingle, right? And I'm from the commercial world at this point, and I didn't understand residential investing or why do it.
Right.
the company I was with, they started a private money lender, and that private money lender happens to be a very large in the space right now. They did it by raising capital from crowdfunding. So now we start seeing a lot of this modern technology and modern business practices starting to come to play, which is a big part of how we were able to create this. And once I saw that, I was then lucky enough to work for two other prominent lenders in this space. Both of them, and of course, again, 3-4 weeks in the spot. I'm like,
Yeah, we just keep. I think RJ's, he in the NYC. So for whatever reason, his internet is not interneting right now. As soon as I can get him back up to the stage, this is powerful stuff, guys. This is one of the big dogs of the industry, and he's my, one of my partners. So, his knowledge pretty much is my knowledge. My knowledge is pretty much his knowledge. So let's bring him back up. Okay.
Yes. Jumping right back in.
Right.
So all of those things came together, and there was one other experience, and this experience might have been key. So at this point, I failed at this one time already. Right. I'm with now a hedge fund. This hedge fund is involved in doing multiple things with real estate. On one side of the business, they acquire properties, add value to the properties, and flip those properties, right? And I'm talking about large commercial. They're buying malls, right? All of that work would come across my desk. I ran the lending side of the hedge fund. Right. So all of the loan business would come through me. But of course, they would use that underwriting apparatus on their own deals. Right. So now you start seeing the connection. Key thing I learned there was where the money was coming from to lend. It's a hedge fund. So now I started to understand how to get to the capital, to lend the capital, all of the systems and following that, a couple more companies. I can see all of the systems that is required to handle a volume of loan requests, get them to the other side. And all of these things started to come together. And then, of course, I met you, and then we worked together on actual deals. And then from there, we developed a rapport, and you brought an opportunity to me. Right? And you brought this opportunity to me, not really knowing where I had come from, right? But you were able to recognize, hey, if I want to build a lending company, who should I talk to? And it was right. And once you got that fire back ignited and asked for a real product in terms of you having a source of capital, and all they needed to see from us was a plan on how we were going to lend all of it. Okay. That allowed me to come in back to the drawing board, back into the lab, and lay out everything. Right. So everything that I had learned, all of the best practices, all of those things were able to get now combined into a plan. Right. And, really that set it off. And again, at this point, I'm at another company. I've elevated at that company to the point where I'm learning more things behind the scenes and really seeing how they market, how they do business, as they had me kind of responsible responsible for a lot of the business development. So again, I'm lucky to know how it works in the back rooms and out front, right? And while a lot of people have been in this business chasing dollars, I've kind of been chasing education. Right. And that really now has manifested itself into a platform that I'm very proud of. And that is a platform that has the potential to take a lot of people to places that they thought that they could go. They want to go, but they don't know how to go.
Right.
And in our space, that is a very dangerous situation, because there are so many people out there waiting to show you where to go.
Right. It ain't the place you really want to go. I promise you that.
The places that they want to take you to are not where you should be going. Right. Because, I mean, just let's talk about influencers. Right. What do I get out of mentoring you?
Right.
Out of me having you sign up to come onto my webinar, and however much you're paying, whatever, to do that. What am I getting out of that? Right. And the only thing that can be produced from that is a couple of things, right? Individuals whose capital I'm going to use to invest in my own deals. And I'm going to give them 10%, 15%, or whatever. Right. But that ain't the 30, 40% that they should have been making. For their dollars. Right. And then the worst scheme is, I'm only in this to really just make this $500 off of you and these 40 other people for a month. Right. I'm gonna do this every month forever. My marketing infrastructure is amazing. I got 150,000 followers, people signing up every day, and I'm making 200 grand a year off of this. Right. So unfortunately, in this business, anything else you want to invest in, you kind of have a place to go. In this business, you don't really know where to go. You'll get lucky if you talk to the right realtor. Right. There's a good realtor out there. Right. But good luck finding that good realtor. Right. That knows investments. Right. Because a realtor's job is to sell you a property.
Absolutely.
They are conditioned to not expect much return business once they sell you a property, because you're buying that house to live in. Right. But a realtor who thinks about investment, that's the kind of realtor you want, because that realtor is in it to make multiple deals with a particular individual. Right. But finding that person is.
Yeah, he cooking too. That's indeed. He is cooking. I wish his internet service was cooking, but right now he's having some Wi-Fi issues. I can see when he comes back. So as soon as he comes back, we're gonna bring him back up. This is what I'm talking about. On this platform, it's going to be individuals like this that we could bring up who has a vast amount of knowledge. And I have access to these type of individuals. Carry on, RJ.
Yeah, I think I was coming to the end there, right? But it's about, again, our platform is designed to help people do this the right way. Right.
Absolutely.
We're invested, and we believe in getting you to your next deal. Right. Because selfishly, that's how we make money. Right. Is your growth. Right. We want to take in individuals from $100,000 deal and get them to a $50 million deal throughout their investment career. Right. So that's really what we're built on.
Right. And here's the thing, guys. Once me and RJ locked in, like I said, we know our strengths. I'm more of a go get the deals kind of guy. He's more of a technical kind of guy, which allows us to work in harmony, right? But RJ, let's kind of keep it moving and let's talk about some of the products, right? And one of the products today that we want to talk about is ground up construction without experience, right? It is a product, folks, that a lot of people could take advantage of, but a lot of people don't even know that it exists. And I'm talking about veteran investors. I'm talking about new investors. In this particular product, a lot of lenders like ourselves don't even have in their arsenal. So this is big. And this is one of the portions of this interview that we're going to cut up and get out to the masses, because we need people to know that this particular product is available. Now, it ain't just any Joe Blow coming in and not having experience. There are some particulars that you must have in order to participate in this particular, program, but it's available. So let's clear this up for everyone, RJ. Can someone really jump into a ground up construction particular deal without prior experience? Break that down for us.
Okay. The answer to that is absolutely yes, right? First, some context, right? When it comes to the pantheon of investment deals that you can do, ground up construction is among the most difficult, right? Whether that be residential or commercial construction. But we're going to talk about really residential construction here. The reason being is because, like I said earlier, lenders are invested in what you're doing, and your failure is catastrophic on their end.
Absolutely.
Right? So your experience that you build in investment purpose real estate is vital to how we look at you as a sponsor or borrower. Okay? For example, if you're just doing a fix and flip and it's your first fix and flip, we're not going to lend you as much money as we're going to lend the guy that did 8 fix and flips. The guy that did 8 fix and flips, we're going to try to fund his whole deal.
Right.
Right? The person that's doing their first fix and flip, we want you to have a higher level of risk, right? In terms of your personal perspective, to kind of give us additional guarantee that you're going to be able to complete the deal. So your experience is important in grading you, right? That's just on a fix and flip. If you were to do a ground up construction, now we're talking about not just painting new cabinets, new appliances, and a new floor. No, we're talking about excavation. We're talking about footing. We're talking about permitting. We're talking about architects. We're talking about all of these engineering systems and building systems that there is no way you're going to understand them, or even have the ability to, I'm talking about Joe Blow, general person, have the ability to learn this thing fast enough to complete a profitable or, efficient build. All right. So the general guideline is no experience, no construction, right? You would always have to become a builder, fund it yourself for your first few before that we could finance you. All right. We have our core ground up construction program requires you to have built 3 houses, right? For us to be able to finance you. All right. Mm-hmm. Now, this particular program, we have looked to solve the conundrum of, well, they can't get experience because they can't get funded, right? So how am I going to get the 3 builds under my belt
if I can't get one?
I can't get the money for one.
Right.
I got 100,000, but I don't have 350.
Right.
Right. I got 250. I don't have 350.
Right.
Right. You got 300. You're screwed. You can't pull that off. Right. Because again, the ground up construction is a higher level of risk. Right. But there's a much higher level of reward. So in our ground up construction, we will fund with no experience, but similar to how if you were doing a fix and flip with no experience, we're going to lend you a little bit less, right? But we're going to fund your deal. And we're typically going to fund your deal at about 70% of your total cost, right? So for our boilerplate example today, I'd like to say that you bought a piece of land for $100,000. Okay. You know what? I have an example in front of me. I'm going to use it. You bought a piece of land for $75,000.
Right.
You have construction cost of $225,000.
Right.
That is a $300,000 total cost. Okay. On that, we would lend a total of 100% of the construction cost. So the construction cost being $225,000, we're going to fund 100% of that, right? And we're also going to fund a portion of the land. Now, the thing is, when you're doing ground up construction and you're acquiring the land is not going to cost $300,000, $400,000, $500,000, $600,000, depending on where you are. You're building in Boston, that land might cost you $600,000, right? But you're building, in the Midwest, you might be able to get a piece of land for $75,000. Right. And that's why this works so well, because if you can get that land for $75,000 with $225,000 in construction cost, you can build approximately 2,000 square feet, right? And that property may sell for $450,000, right? So in the breakdown here, right? Let's say you buy for $75,000. All right, and you're going to build for $225,000. You have a $300,000 closing total cost. All right, we're going to give enough to cover the full cost of the build, which is the full $225,000. And in most cases, we'll give a little bit back to you towards the land. Right. And even in a situation where you're purchasing the land, right, you don't own the land yet, we're going to go to the closing table with you, and you're going to get a portion of whatever the price of that land is. Let's say up to about 50% of the land, right? That's not going to be exact numbers. Once we plug in the numbers, we'll have an exact number for a particular deal. But just generally speaking, that's kind of how it's laid out. So this now gives an individual an opportunity to take a 12-month loan to build a single-family residence. And here's the most important part to this, G. That is a vital need in our communities. Absolutely. The construction of new homes. Exactly. All across the country. Right? Yeah. And that's where the rubber meets the road. Exactly. Right? Because your construction of a new home, I mean, I couldn't begin to describe to you. Let's say you do this and you get this, you go through this one. As you know, while I'm optimistic, I love to present deals to clients in a much more pessimistic manner. Right? Absolutely. Don't blame me if I try to discourage you from doing a deal. Because I will try to discourage you from doing a deal. Right? And again, influencers say this and this and this and this. We're not in that business. We're in the business to get you out on the other end to get a exit. Bring
Right.
you in this way, you can see it coming through the camera shot. Oh,
Mhm.
there it is. And then
Right.
and then you got to go
Right.
out that way, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
So in order to get there from the onset, you have to understand everything that could go horribly wrong with this.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Now,
Well, that leads to my next question then.
yeah.
We probably got about a good 20 minutes left, RJ.
Okay.
We got to be done here before 2.
Okay.
So I'm just gonna hit you with questions I think that are
All right.
important in the scheme of things.
I'm gonna cut down my big answers and just give it to you in
just hit me in the face with it.
10 words or less.
No Diddy. Yeah.
Man, I don't know if you can hold me to 10 or 15 words or less.
No, you ain't gotta go. We only got a couple more good questions.
Okay.
But just kind of piggybacking off of what you just got through saying, how important is it having the right team around you when you're starting fresh and ground up new construction?
It's the whole deal. It's everything. Everything.
Exactly.
It's everything. There's a reason why lenders will not lend to you if you haven't built.
Mm-hmm.
It's because we know what you're about to get into.
Right.
Right.
Exactly.
And the chances that you're not going to get out of it. Right. So, there is a happy medium, but lenders don't really do common sense.
Mm-hmm.
Right. This program is a little bit more common sense. You got a good credit score. You got a little bit of money, right? You got a good piece of land. You're in a good market where we can see that the value is going to be this on the back end, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know what? Let's do the deal. We're going to hold your hand a little bit, help you as much as we can, give you all the things that you need to try to help you get through it, right? Because again, what do we want? For you to win there so we can go do that again.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. All right. So how does Nationwide Capital Advisors support those new ground up construction individual investors? How do we hold their hand through the process to make them feel comfortable about the transaction that they're about to partake in because it's brand new to them?
Yes. So, that's a very important word that you just used. It's comfortable, right? We're going to strive to get you comfortable. And and again, we're not interested in being salespeople either, right? So we're not going to sell you on going forward on something that you're not going to be able to get through. So once I tell you all of the horrible things, if you're still giddy and you're still ready, then I know that we can get to the next step, right? Your team is vital, and you're going to go through growing pains in terms of finding the right people to surround yourself with. But we're going to advise you and help you identify potential contractors and partners. We're going to potentially refer people to you that we've already done business with. And we're going to try to give you all those tools to find the right people. We're going to tell you, hey, we like this person or we don't like this person, right? So you're going to get a chance to rely on us to be like that consigliere, that second in command that you can bounce ideas off of and get real feedback, right? And that goes all the way through the process, including targeting the right network, finding the right people, getting out of situations with the wrong people, because that's a part of it, right? This is not going to be perfect. It's not going to be just smooth sailing, right? It's business, and you got to be prepared to pivot and go another direction sometimes. So we're going to put in those type of contingencies. We're going to help find the right people. We're going to help vet them. We're going to give access to all of our experience and all of our tools.
Okay. Well, speaking of that, are there certain red flags we look for when first-time investors are deciding to, or when we decide to fund a project? And what's one mistake you see rookies make over and over again?
So when it comes to the type of people that we want to work with, to be honest with you, I have really one overriding qualifier, and that is an individual that actually wants it, right? And again, me being pessimistic and presenting the project in a pessimistic manner is part of filtering out individuals that don't really have the thick skin and don't really want it, right? They want that money, but they don't want it, right? So that's what we're looking for. Those individuals that want. We find those individuals that really want it, and we're going to invest in them, right? Because we know where they're going. They just need stepping stones over the water so that they can get to where they want to go. So that's kind of what we're looking for. The second part of your question, I forgot.
What's one mistake you see rookies?
Got it. All right. Here is the one mistake. The mistake is falling in love with the deal. Falling in love with the deal. That deal don't love you.
Right. Absolutely not.
You can't love these deals. You can't be out here loving these deals.
Right.
If you know, you know.
Right. Exactly.
Right. So, the deal is the deal. The numbers are the numbers, right? You're going to know if we can project $100,000 profit, or if we're only going to project $20,000 profit. We're projecting $20,000 profit, but you love this. You love what you see. You love what you're about to build, right? And what you're about to do, right? And you're going to go through it no matter what, right? And when all those pitfalls and all of the things that we advise you were going to happen, that those dominoes start to fall. That $20,000 profit that we warned you was minimal, right? Now gets eaten away after the 12-month deal turns into 14, 15, 16, it's over. Right? 17, 18, you're calling your lawyer.
Right. Yeah.
Right? Yeah. 19 and 20, you might have got kicked out the house.
Right. Absolutely.
Right. So, and again, you say beginners, but I see experienced people do it too. Right. Even with the number, I've seen an investor doing a huge build in San Francisco that cost, where he needed to have $15 million to do it. Right. He only had 12. Right. So now when we can't finance him, what is he doing? Shopping around. Right. And the more lenders you see, the more likely one of them is about to lie to you. Right.
Absolutely.
So that they can get a $10,000 deposit from you, get you going down the line for you not to get anywhere.
Absolutely.
Right. So if you had 12 million, do a deal that costs 12 million, make your $2-3 million profit. Right. Instead of trying to do a deal that costs $15 million, where you're going to, make a slightly more profit, but all of the time, effort, waste of relationships, contacts, your word starts going to, trying to make something happen that was totally unnecessary, right? For us, it's all about do a deal that you can do so we can just get to the next one.
Absolutely.
The next one is coming. You don't need to do the $15 million deal when you can afford the $12 million deal.
Right.
Let's do the $12 million deal now so we can do the $15 million deal next year, please.
Absolutely.
Right? So,
absolutely.
Yeah, that's it.
All right. Well, and guys, look, we're going to bring RJ back up. I mean, more than likely, I'm going to try to get him to come up at least once a month, unless he wants to come up more. But RJ, I'm gonna hit you with probably one or two more questions, and then we're gonna get out of here. And this can be like a two-part question. You can just kind of sum it all up. If you could give one piece of advice to someone listening who's thinking about getting into ground up construction, what would it be? And what's next for Nationwide Capital Advisors and our push into ground up projects?
If I could give one piece of advice, it's going to be find the right place to build.
Mm-hmm.
Find that place where the need is there,
Mm-hmm.
where the cost template, right, makes sense. And that means, oh yeah, in this particular city, I could buy land for 100, build for 200, and sell for 500, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can see those three markers, right? Land available at this price, construction costs generally at this price, ARVs are in this range, right? Find the place where that is and learn that market, right? And become an expert, and then start doing things to, well, first of all, first thing is, if you're a developer, you're a developer. Say you're a developer. Tell yourself you're a developer.
Right.
Right? And then start acting like a developer.
Right.
All
That's
right?
important, people. That's important.
Yeah. Yes. And then, like I said, find the place, then start getting acquainted with the government processes.
Permitting, things of that nature.
Right? Do I got to grease somebody? Hopefully not. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Find out what the political climate is in that particular marketplace, as it pertains to building and development, right? And really start digging in there. Who are the architects? And that's going to start to build your infrastructure, right? Because again, you want to build 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times in a particular marketplace, because you don't want to stretch yourself out so that your contractors can become a team. Everyone that's working with you can become a team. That makes everyone more acquainted and a little bit more efficient. So that's the way where you want to go. And in terms of what's next, we're just really making a push, right, with this product, because when we're talking about improving the lives of individuals with real estate, when we talk about creating generational wealth, it's no secret that the wealthy individuals are heavily invested in real estate. It's no secret. It's no secret. Anywhere you are, right, you look around, you see people building, right? They're making money, and they're making money hand over foot. And what I mean by that is, when it comes to looking at different investment strategies, ground up construction is one that does pretty well in terms of producing a good profit margin.
Absolutely.
Right? One thing I don't necessarily love about it, it takes a little bit longer, right? Because you're in a deal for 12 months, sometimes maybe more. We would prefer to see you in 2 deals over 12 months, right? But at the same time, the ground up construction experience is, while we're not doing 2 deals with you over 12 months and we're only doing 1, right? What's happening is you could have made that same amount of money potentially doing a flip or 2, right? 2 to 3 flips, right? In that same place. But the ease of execution when it comes to identifying the place where you can get the land, the construction cost, and ARV, that template carries over without you having to do work to look for properties.
Right. Absolutely.
Right? Because nobody's buying the land. Nobody's buying the land.
Right.
Right? You're not going to get in a bidding war over land. Right? So that's the one of the biggest benefits. But most importantly, it's an investment that we're making, because no, we may not make as much in the short term with this particular client,